What's up? What's happening? What is going on, folks? It's a hot afternoon here in the sunflower state of Kansas as we welcome you to the Kansas Speedway for stop number 6 of the 2022 Mission Barbecue Cup Series Chase for the Championship, the Applebee's Fancy Like 400. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, lads of all ages, as we once again welcome you to the track with live coverage on the North American Sim Racing Network. And from high in the sky in the press box, my name is Trey Wright for the NASRN. 54 laps are on the dock of today's race around this mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter track in the great state of Kansas. And yes, Toto, we are still in Kansas anymore. Now that we've got your obligatory Wizard of Oz reference out of the way, let's get into your actual pre-race show by briefly recapping the insane Casa Bonita Denver double this past weekend at the Denver Roval and the Denver Oval. That really shook up your chase standings. More on that in a couple of moments, but we saw history being made in the oval race. Madison Tall tied Keegan Thompson for the most wins in Mission Barbecue Cup Series history at 6 apiece. Those two drivers start relatively close to each other on the grid. You see Madison Tall in the white K&N 99 Monte Carlo for NS Racing. She starts right beside the 14, the black 14 Viagra Monte Carlo of Keegan Thompson on today's race for the Fancy Like the Applebee's Fancy Like 400. But all records aside, let's go into what you guys actually care about in the pre-race show. Your chase standings at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Jesse Turner now takes the points lead away from Derek Hamill. We thought it was going to be Logan Williams, but Turner had enough points to even eclipse Logan Williams coming into today's race. Logan Williams is now second in the point standings, a mere 15 points behind Jesse Turner. That equates to 3 positions on the racetrack. Derek Hamill with his subpar Casa Bonita Denver double, in which in both races he finished outside the top 30, falls down to third in the points, 60 points behind the two drivers. Then Derek Hamill and Keegan Thompson remain in their positions 4th and 5th respectively. And then Braden Perez is the final car in the chase that has less than a full race's worth of points gap under the Less than a full race's worth of points under the 43 of Jesse Turner. Mitchell Collins, the biggest mover in the chase this weekend, rises up 4 positions, is now 7th in the points, 265 points behind Jesse Turner. Matt Wolff with his pretty subpar weekend falls 2 positions. Ryan Durrani, despite winning the Roval race on Friday, falls down a position after retiring early from the oval race due to a problem on the pit lane after he makes contact with his American Motorsports teammate. Coincidentally, Daniel Georgia is right beside him in the point standings in 10th, 330 points behind Jesse Turner. Justin Seidel falls down a position as well, and Brennan Wilmington, with a header failure, is 405 points behind Jesse Turner in the chase standings. It's technically 410 at the moment, but the second Wilmington takes the green flag, since he is the points leader, it will automatically become minus 405 behind the 43 Monte Carlo of Jesse Turner. So things are really getting interesting in the chase. We are officially halfway through the chase for the championship. 5 races up, 5 to go. And we've got quite a schedule for the last races in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series for 2022. Today's race at Kansas, if you remember last year's race at Kansas, that was pretty wild with 4 caution flags, including a massive 20-car pileup on the front straightaway. Then on Wednesday, we go up to the Great White North of Canada at the Ricky Raceway, our final super speedway of the season. Then we go down south to Homestead, Florida, for the Miami Vice 400 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. That's another great track where there's a lot of grip, so many passing lanes, and we're going to see quite a few wrecks there as well. Trenton is back as a penultimate race of the season here for the 1077 The Bronc 500. You remember back to 2020, the last time it was the penultimate race of the year. That provided a great show and a lot of chaos transpiring. And of course, the New Jersey Motor Speedway plays host for the 3rd and final time as the season and series finale for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. That is going to be a fun race as well. But that is all then. This is now. We'll get into the finer details later on in the race, but it's now time for the moment you've all been waiting for. That time of the broadcast again, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go down trackside to get the most famous words in motorsport to kick off the Applebee's Fancy Like 400.
Is this on? Drivers, start your engines.
Indeed, it's on, and that was a bit of an awkward gentleman. Start your engines right there, but the engines roar to life on the pit lane here in Kansas. We're just moments away from dropping the green flag for today's race. Like we said in the pre-race show, Brennan Wilmington starts on the pole position in the 62 car. Alongside him is the 47 of Derek Hamill, and just like the South Park 400, top 3 drivers that qualified are all chasers. The starting lineup on the side of your screen as we make sure everybody pulls off the pit lane. Justin Zeidel qualified 42nd last position on the grid here this afternoon. We'll quickly go into your race analysis at the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Your pit window is going to be between 30 and 35 laps today as we do 54 circuits around the Kansas Speedway, a mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter oval with 17 to 20 degrees of progressive banking in the corners. And your previous winner here at Kansas was Aiden McCrow back in 2021. He starts 24th on the grid here this afternoon. And quickly, before we drop the green flag, we'll go over where all your chase drivers are starting. Brennan Wilmington starts first, Derek Hamill starts second, Ryan Durrani starts third, Will Parrish starts fifth, Dano Georgi 8th, Jesse Turner 9th, Logan Williams 18th, Keegan Thompson 20th, Braden Perez 25th, Matt Wolf 29th, Mitchell Collins 30th, and Justin Zeidel 42nd. So as the pace car makes its way down the pit lane, 5 chase races left in the year. Wilmington and Hamill will see the green flag, and we are live in the Sunflower State of Kansas. Wilmington will lead lap 1. That is 10 bonus points for the 62 car. Wilmington is still looking for that first win of the year. Will Parrish now brings it up the top 3. Hamill quickly falling back in the 47. If you remember the last season, he was the catalyst in triggering that massive 20-car pileup midway through last year's Ironman 400. Jesse Turner dives down to the inside of the 47. He wants to extend that points lead over Logan Williams. Check back to see where Williams is running. He is stuck up on the high lane. So it's not a good start to the race so far for the 17, and he is going to lose more positions as Thomas Troxel dives down to the inside of that Hershey's Pontiac. Justin Zeidel, one of the biggest chase movers so far, started last, is making his way up to about 35th, I'd gauge. At the line, Logan Williams is really dropping back at the moment. Started 18th, already back to 31st. That outside lane does not work, especially on the start. Big mover so far is Braden Perez. Is currently 17th. Started back in 25th. So the Riverside, California native on the move already. Will Parrish up to second. They're battling for third behind him. Jesse Turner right in the thick of a battle between himself and Charlie Davenport. But it is Brennan Wilmington who has led all 4 laps so far, and that is about to change. Here comes Will Parrish with a boatload of steam. Parrish, the regular season champion, wants to win the championship. Had such a lackluster year last year. Finished last in the points. Wants to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. But Jesse Turner has been the biggest thorn in his side in the second half of the season. Turner now up to second. You know, he may be manufactured by Chevrolet, but he has got an absolute horse under the hood of that 43 machine. He is up to second and is rapidly closing in on Brennan Wilmington. He is right on the back bumper of that 62. Turner now ducks down to the inside of the Washington native. Door to door for the lead. That's going to bring in Derek Hamill in the 47. Chasers running 1, 2, 3, 4. Dano Georgia trying to make it 5th, but he's going to be split 3 wide. Some of the outside of 3 wide, I should say, as his teammate Ryan Durrani shoots the gap. Now it's Hamill going for 2nd, and he's going to try and get the lead under Turner. Oh, he's going to make contact with the 43. Derek roughing up Jesse going into 1. Jesse, we need to survive this race and win. And that brings in Parrish and Davenport into this battle. 5 cars under a blanket for the lead. Turner now on the outside, almost 3 wide off the corner, but it is Derek Hamill leading his first lap of the afternoon. See Aiden McCrow, last year's winner, 42nd for the 42 car. And oh no, Zachary Davis is going to go into the outside wall. Davis will spin, but the yellow flag does not come out. Been the story of the season for Davis in the 1 machine, and he's got to be careful not to get run over by the leaders. Davis is halfway down the back straightaway. The leaders are now just entering turn 1. Not sure who we went off the front bumper of. I believe it was the 45 of Mitchell Collins. We are still green here. Indeed, we are still green. Davis makes it safely down the pit lane. Here comes Charlie Davenport now underneath the 62. I just want to make sure that cautions are on. Yes, cautions are on. I don't know why they wouldn't be on, because they were on last race. But Zachary Davis in the wall early, going around. He is going to lose at least 2 or 3 laps. It has been nothing short of a terrible season for that 1 car. No wins, barely any top 5s. I don't even think he has a single top 10. He might have a couple of top 10s. But it's just been a terrible, terrible season for Zachary Davis, and it gets even worse. But here comes Brennan Wilmington, back on the back bumper of Derek Hamill as they go down the front straightaway. 12 down of the scheduled 54 here at Kansas. Charlie Davenport looking for his first oval win, but he is going to be put on blast all the way on the outside. Nathan Stapleton looking for redemption after the Denver 300K, in which he was spun out while running in the lead by Matt Wolf. Wolf, on the contrary, towards the back end of the field. Not sure exactly where he is running. There is Matt Wolf, currently running in 17th. Yes, still 17th. Ryan Durrani fell back, as Will Parrish is now stuck up on the outside lane. He was going to lose quite a few positions. How about Daniel Bouchard in the 07? Winless in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, and we're going to his home track on Wednesday. The Ottawa native trying to win in Quebec. That would be kind of awkward, as... I mean, it wouldn't be awkward since it's his home country. It's our only race in Canada. If we had multiple races in Canada, one was in Ontario, one was in Quebec, I'd understand if people in the stands would boo him. But hey, you gotta love a good old Canadian boy. I know, even though he's from Ottawa, I know the Toronto Maple Leafs, since he's a good old Canadian boy, would love him. But back up at the front, Derek Hamill continues to lead in the 47 machine. Jesse Turner running 2nd. Turner would still have the points lead if the checker flag were to fall right now. But Hamill would close in probably by about 10 points if Turner's running where he is right now. But here comes Nathan Stapleton, a man on a mission, looking for his 3rd career win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. There's one thing that Nathan Stapleton has been, all of his NBCS career, it has been overshadowed by Madison Tall in that 99 car. Tall with her 6 career wins compared to Stapleton's 2. But Stapleton trying to at least get to half of that amount. We close in on the quarter way here at Kansas. I believe we're about a third of the way, actually. Let me do some math real quick. And yeah, this time by, we will be a third of the way through the the Applebee's Fancy Like 400 from Kansas. That meme is already dead and in hell. But you know what? It's funny. Stapleton now gaining ground on Hamill as they go through the corner, working on lap 19 and 54. Jesse Turner makes it a three-car battle. It's a battle for fourth between Charlie Davenport and the 62 of Brennan Wilmington. Ooh, Wilmington gets in the outside wall just a little bit. And, you know, I thought these guys would be a lot more aggressive than last year, since this is a chase race and every position matters, but we've been caution-free so far. So leaders gonna close in on Zachary Davis to put him a lap down. Turner now dives down to the inside of Stapleton for second. He might have a crack at the lead, but he's gonna elect to fall back and go back into the clutches of Nathan Stapleton for second. But in case you were just tuning in, Derek Hamill has led the majority of the laps here at Kansas. We have not had a caution, but we have had an accident with Zachary Davis going around in turns 1 and 2. We believe off the front bumper of Mitchell Collins. We don't know that for sure. But here comes Derek Hamill on the back end of the one, and Zachary is going to let him by. But he's going to be a problem for Nathan Stapleton on the inside. That will allow Davenport to pull up, and now Davis will shift up to the outside and block Turner down the back straightaway. It's not what Jesse needs. And he is going to be blocked all the way through turns 3 and 4. He will fall outside the top 5, potentially outside the top 10 before this is all said and done. And now Davenport ducks down to the inside of Stapleton, almost gets into the quarter panel of Nathan, into one. The dive bombs that these guys put on one another going into that first corner is really, I wouldn't say concerning, but it's definitely a sight to see. And we've already seen a car go into the outside wall with a dive bomb. But Stapleton back in second. Rounding out your podium is Charlie Davenport. Dano Georgi pops his head into the top 5 for the first time this afternoon. Still looking for his first win of the year. Daniel Bouchard, and a yellow flag is out for the first time, and Justin Zeidel has gone around. And Zeidel, who is minus 355, down in the chase standings coming in today's race, will likely finish 41st if we don't have another caution. But that will essentially take Zeidel out of the running for the championship. Despite his 2 wins on the year, it's been a really, really bad back 9 for Zeidel this season. But this caution will come in at a pretty good time for the leaders. With 25 laps to go, 30 laps to go, that puts the leaders right at the window to make it to the end of the race, and that is exactly what everybody's going to do. It's going to be feeding time on the pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. You would be hard-pressed to see if anybody stays out on the track. I don't believe anybody will, but Derek Hamill led them back to the caution flag. We are going to pay attention to see what Big Daddy Derek does in the pits. I imagine it'll be a 4-tire stop and fill in that gas tank full of octane racing fuel. See if anybody elects to play some strategy. They were almost at their number, with lap 30 being the opening for the window. But it's going to be 4 tires going on that 47. He will be out and away. The jack drops pretty quickly. Stapleton out second. Looks like Wilmington is going to come out third. A slow stop for Charlie Davenport. He will lose 2 positions. But Derek Hamill, first off the pit lane, will be your leader going back through the gears in just a couple of moments. It is showing Justin Seidel. He is a lap down, so we are going to have 2 cars on the inside of everybody. And a very slow stop for the 05 of Owen Miles. 33 seconds on the pit lane for the 05. And apparently with the chat, you can see who had the fastest 4-tire pit stop. So I'm not really realizing that until just now. So if the point system we've got is based off of what Slapshoes did in a video a couple of years ago, and one of those was the fastest 4-tire pit stop. So with that, if we don't have another round, not going to 1 to go. We'll see who had the fastest pit stop. I'm curious to see. Fastest I see is a 15:06 from Lauren Martinez. No, 15 flat from the 5 machine. Let's see, up here, 15 flat. 15 flat from Cole Sampson's team would give him the fastest 4-tire pit stop of the race. And Owen Miles with a 33-second stop, definitely not that. But regardless from that, Derek Hamill led the field off the pit lane, led them back to the caution flag. Let's take a look at your 2 accidents of the day, one of which brought out our first caution of the afternoon here at the Kansas Speedway in the Applebee's Fancy Like 400. First off, we'll see what happened with the 1 of Zachary Davis. It was Trey Smith getting into the left rear quarter panel of that Cinevis Monte Carlo, sending him around. Shockingly, the yellow did not come out, so we apologize that we accidentally fingered the 45 of Mitchell Collins. It was Trey Smith who we should have been fingering pretty hard. But Zachary Davis, 4 laps down at the moment. Now let's see what happened to bring out the first caution of the afternoon with Justin Seidel in the 78 machine. So, textbook crash here at Kansas. We saw this happening all in last year's race. And that also explains why Owen Miles is on the pit lane for an extended amount of time. Seidel gets hooked off the front bumper of the 05 car. This was the battle for 37th at the time. So it was at the back of the field, so I'm surprised that they threw out the yellow for this. But Seidel goes around right underneath the caution stand. Yellow coming out for this incident. Not sure why it didn't come out for Zachary Davis's accident. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of damage on the 78. I did see quite a bit of rear end damage to that Logitech Taurus. Yeah, there's a pretty crumpled up ass of that Taurus. So Seidel is going to be knocked out of contention for this one. And like I said, minus 355 away from the points lead coming into Kansas. He's got 4 races left to completely erase a 2-race deficit, essentially. So Seidel's championship hopes not mathematically over, but logically, the Logitech Taurus is out of the running for the championship. Take a look at this accident in real time. Just a simple racing incident between Miles and Seidel. You see the back end damage of that Ford. Fix or repair daily. Unfortunately, that has been the creed for Buck Racing pretty much this entire season. I can't remember a race where a Buck Racing car wasn't involved in an accident. Probably Pocono, since we only had 1 caution and nobody was knocked out of that race. But Derek Hamill led them back to the caution flag and led them off the pit lane. So let's see what he and the rest of the field can do on this restart here in the Applebee's Fancy Like 400. We're back here at the Kansas Speedway, wrapping up our first caution of the Applebee's Fancy Like 400. Take a look and see who was knocked out. Nobody. Well, Justin Seidel is on the tail end of the lead lap. That is going to make things pretty interesting on the restart, since you've got 2 cars with pretty significant rear-end damage right in front of the field. So you got Seidel on the tail end of the lead lap, Davis 4 laps down. Pace car makes its way down the pit lane. Your top 5 going back through the Reese's restart zone are Hamill, Stapleton, Wilmington, Bouchard, and Davenport. And through the Reese's restart they go. Green flag is in the air. A good jump for Seidel. He may not be have as much damage as I think, but I think once these guys get up to speed, Zidell is probably going to be a moving pick. We'll see how bad the one affects the back half of the field. It looks like everybody's getting past. Stapleton trying to take advantage of the pick in front of the 47. But Hamill with a huge run on the outside, door to door for the lead. Hamill will take the lead right back from Stapleton. And here we go. Oh boy. Hamill just about booted Zidell out of the way going into one. And looky who is running up inside the top 5. Madison Tall looking for career win number lucky 7. But don't look now, Keegan Thompson is also up in here. He wants that illustrious 7th win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. But Hamill has cleared the lap traffic. He is out front. And Davis, the rest of the field has not cleared the one. And right behind Davis is Will Parrish, who had a good start, but he has been marred all on this restart by that one machine, his teammate, ironically, and he is going to duck right down to the inside of Cole Sampson, despite the 5 having the fastest pit stop that last round. He was all the way in the back of the field. Zidell continues to hold up a couple of guys in the back. But Stapleton now tucks in behind Hamill. The NS Racing cars running nose to tail. They break off a little bit. Tandem draft with a couple of, I almost said a couple of Toyotas, but Bouchard is in a Pontiac. They've got the same body type as a Toyota, as Tall dives down to the inside, not able to make the pass on her teammate. I heard somebody getting to the outside wall. Not sure who it was. Zachary Fitzwater is going to make it 3 wide between himself, McCrow, and Parrish. There's Logan Williams, second in the points, currently running 29th, but I believe he is going to increase that position by a couple. Jesse Turner, 21st at the moment. So it would be Derek Hamill taking the points lead over if the checker flag were to fall. But now it's Madison Tall in second. She has gotten around Nathan Stapleton. And here comes Bouchard. Down to the inside. Tall is going to make it 3 wide for the race lead. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be 3 abreast going into 1. Hamill will back out in the 47. A wise decision by the chase driver. He knows he has way more to lose than all these guys up in here. But that 47 is going to fall back from 1st to 4th this lap. Potentially back to 5th that Charlie Davenport can get around him. But Daniel Bouchard with about a 3.5 car lengths lead over the field with 19 laps to go at Kansas. I thought the caution flag was out once again. Zachary Davis running really slow on the racetrack. Last lap he was a little less than half of a second away from failing the damaged vehicle policy. Got to run at least a 30-second lap, but that one is severely slow. Zachary Fitzwater slow in the 9 car, but don't think he's going to fall too far out of the draft. Here comes Maddie. Here comes Maddie right down Dorothy Lane. That doesn't make sense. But it doesn't have to. It's the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Nobody gives a flying F-bomb about this series anyway. Oh boy. Daniel Bouchard leads here as we are past the halfway point. In fact, we are. In fact, I believe, yeah, lap 32 was the halfway point through this race. Let's get you a full field rundown presented by Exalta. Since the battle for the lead is heating back up, let's do it on your ticker. So 1st through 10th is Daniel Bouchard, Madison Tall, Charlie Davenport, Derek Hamill, Nathan Stapleton, Daisy Johnson, Noah Clifton, Roberto Crown Jr., Keegan Thompson, and Diego Vasquez. 11th through 20th are Juan Rodriguez, Braden Perez, Jordan Lopez, Matt Wolf, Elijah Gordon, Cameron Garlington, Dano Georgi, Brennan Wilmington has fallen all the way back to 18th. Josh Williamson, and in 20th is the 20 of Logan Alexander. 21st through 30th is Alex Lozano, Jesse Turner, Tyler Reynolds, Cole Sampson, Ryan Durrani, Logan Williams, Thomas Troxel, Owen Miles, Lauren Martinez. And now Lauren Martinez back in 30th. Brandon Yodel is now in 29th, so everything jumbled up in the back of the field. 31st through 40th is Mitchell Collins, Will Parrish, Ethan Lewis, Nathan Smith, Caleb Rose, Eric Monaco, Cole Sampson, Trey Smith, Zachary Fitzwater, and Aiden McCrow. And of course, your 2 lap down cars are the 78 of Justin Zidell and the 1 of Zachary Davis. That has been your full field rundown presented by Exalta. And the top 2 drivers pulling away as Hamill and Davenport race side by side for 3rd. But Madison Tall, your oval winner back on Saturday, is going to go down to the inside of Bouchard, side by side for the lead. Bouchard trying to get Pontiac their first win of the season. But he's going to fall back into the clutches of Derek Hamill, your championship leader right now at the moment. We'll see if Jesse Turner has fallen back anymore. Yes, he has, back to 26th. Logan Williams falls back as well in the 17. Back at the front now, Davenport diving down to the inside. Daisy Johnson still looking for her first win in the Mr. Barbecue Cup Series. But it is Madison Tall currently in the catbird seat to win this race. It would be her 7th win in the Mr. Barbecue Cup Series. And 11 laps to go away from that 7th heaven. Derek Hamill is going to try to have have a say in this. Look back to see where some of the other chase drivers are. There is Keegan Thompson, who is 155 away from Turner coming into this race. Currently running 8th. We'll see back. I saw Braden Perez back in the picture. Perez in 12th as I heard some contact in the back. Not sure who that was. I believe it was Nathan Smith who was in a bit of a weird position. As Durrani ducks down to the inside of the lap down car. Brennan Wilmington currently 23rd, 405 away from Turner. I believe this bad run is unfortunately going to take Wilmington out of contention for the chase, barring some sort of miracle occurring. And oh boy, leaders running up on Zachary Davis. This could be the chance for Derek Hamill. He is going to take it, but Madison Tall throws a late block on the 47. It wasn't late enough. And now Davenport will fall behind the 1 machine. That will allow the 21 of Roberto Crown Jr. to come up. And with 9 laps to go, Davis goes high. Keegan Thompson is going to come up, and Vasquez almost gets into the 1 machine. But we've got less than 10 laps to go here from Kansas already. Derek Hamill goes wide. Madison Tall still your leader. That was probably the move to win the race, but here comes Daniel Bouchard with a boatload of steam on the 99. We saw this race won last year with, I believe it was a last lap pass. Keegan Thompson losing this race on a last lap pass from Aiden McCrow, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, McCrow's only 2 victories have come on last lap passes, if I'm not mistaken. Because he won at Atlanta. That was a last lap pass, I'm pretty sure. And his Kansas win was on a last lap pass as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, interesting stat for your 2021 champion. Coming around, 7 to go here from Kansas. Shaping up to be a great one. Hopefully the caution does not come out, because if the caution comes back out, oh boy, batten down the hatches. It is going to get real crazy on the restart. But Bouchard stalking the 99 of Tall. Hamill running 3rd, the highest running chaser at the moment. Keegan Thompson wants to get up here, and he might not take the points lead, but I know he wants a great chance of getting up inside the, getting in the potential podium of the chase, going into his home track on Wednesday. But Hamill is going to make this a 3-car battle. 5, count them, 5 laps to go, coming around to 4 laps to go here from Kansas. Bouchard's got a huge run on Tall. Does Tall go down to block low? Yes, she does. Hamill will be brought in. 3 cars underneath the blanket as Hamill goes down to the inside of Bouchard. We saw Hamill making bonsai moves back on Saturday. And the stakes are much higher. Since we are going to have 4 races left in the championship, and I know Hamill has got 2020 in the back of his mind, losing to Jonathan Logan in a razor-thin championship finish at New Jersey. But they're side by side for second place, coming around to 2 laps to go next time by. Madison Tall trying to be the second driver in Mission Barbecue Cup Series history to win back-to-back races. This time by Popsicle 6 in the air. 2 laps to go here from Kansas. And if the caution comes out now, 25 is going to come down the pit lane. Nathan Smith, is there an issue? They might have to come down. I think the most they can do is 35. I don't think fuel should be an issue. But Daisy Johnson now in third. But this time by white flag in the air. One more time around the Kansas Speedway for Madison Tall, looking for her 3rd win of the season, and most importantly, her 7th win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Daniel Bouchard is going to have 1 shot going into turn 3, potentially get around this 99. I don't think it's going to be enough. Tall goes wide. Bouchard is going to send it, but it's not going to be enough. 7th heaven. Madison Tall is now the all-time winningest driver in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Madison Tall wins the Fancy Like 400 at Kansas. Who would have thought coming into this season, Madison Tall would break the all-time winning, would become the all-time winningest driver. That is Tall's 3rd win of the season, but most importantly, her 7th win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Breaks the tie she had with Keegan Thompson for the most all-time. Derek Hamill, highest finishing chaser in 4th. I believe that should be enough to take the points lead back. But they are jumping up and down for joy on that K&N pit box. Madison Tall is the most winningest driver in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. And with only 4 races left, all 4 of them very much wild card races, Keegan Thompson is going to try and take that crown back from him. He has held that crown for so long in the MBCS. I believe he has held it since Rockingham of 2021. So we're talking over a year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah, about a year and a half. Keegan Thompson has been the most winningest driver in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, but that all changes today on September 19th. Madison Tall takes her 7th trip to victory lane here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Lucky number 7, and that might stand the test of time. We'll go down to your, let's go over your top 10. Daniel Bouchard had an opportunity at the end, but unfortunately could not get the job done. Has to finish, settle for 2nd. Daisy Johnson finishes 3rd. I believe that is, I don't think that's the first time in Mission Barbecue Cup Series history that 2 women finished on the podium. But hey, I've got to make this joke because it's obligatory at this point. Daniel Bouchard is in the middle of a girl and girl sandwich. He was in the middle of that at the end. But unfortunately, he would like to be on top of that girl and girl sandwich on the scoring pylon. Derek Hamill finishes 4th. A great recovery from a disastrous Casa Bonita Denver double. Jordan Lopez rounds out your top 5. I've got a feeling Lopez is going to win his first career victory in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series by the time the season is all said and done. Charlie Davenport, Roberto Crown Jr., Noah Clifton, Matt Wolf, and Diego Vasquez round out your top 10. Take a look and see at all of your lap down drivers. The rest of your standings, Tyler Reynolds and Nathan Smith had to come down the pit lane at the end of this race So they were pretty close on fuel. That would have made things interesting if they did have to come down the pit lane. But we'll take a look and see where all your chasers finished. Handball, it's been well documented at this point. He finished in 4th. And him and Matt Wolf are the only chase drivers to finish in the top 10. Keegan Thompson was 11th. Braden Perez 13th. A great recovery for the 92 team. Daniel Georgi 15th. Go down Brandon Wilmington 20th. It's not I think that might mathematically eliminate Brandon Wilmington from championship contention going into Ricky on Wednesday. Ryan Durrani, same deal. Durrani was 296 back, so it might be a couple of races before that 38 is mathematically eliminated from championship contention. Logan Williams 23rd. That's really going to hurt him in the chase, but given where a couple of other drivers finished, I wouldn't put it past him, but to not fall back that far down in the standings. We go down. Mitchell Collins, 29th. Another subpar run for him. No surprise there. Jesse Turner, who was running, I'm pretty sure he led a lap. I know he was running in second at one point. Falls all the way down to 33rd. A really crummy ending result for your points leader coming in today. Will Parrish finishes 34th. And Justin Zidell finishes 40th. I feel like we missed somebody. No, we hit all the chase drivers. But man, oh man, not as chaotic as I thought this race was going to be, but still a very, very entertaining race here this afternoon. And of course, we witnessed history at Kansas. Madison Tall making her 7th trip to victory lane, setting an all-time record in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. But that's going to do it here from the Kansas Speedway. Congratulations once again to Madison Tall for winning the Applebee's Fancy Like 400 and setting the new high mark for most wins in the MBCS. And we'll see you this Wednesday night up in the Great White North of Canada at the Ricky Raceway for the Labatt Blue 500 right here on the NESRN. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your point standings after race 31 of the 2022 NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series season. And from Kansas City, Kansas, this concludes our broadcast on the North American Sim Racing Network. Study hard, get good sleep, and as always, lads, practice safe sex. Until next time, I've been Trey Wright for the NESRN. Have a great evening, folks.